My son spoke slowly, like I was deaf, like I was dying. Say goodbye to your cabin, Mom. It's not yours anymore. It's already gone. His words were sharp, deliberate. My breath caught. The spoon slipped from my fingers, clinked onto the floor. He didn't flinch. He only waited, certain I'd stay silent. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. A few days later, I saw my son before he saw me. Standing by the vending machine, his blazer off, tie loosened, tapping his pen against a manila folder. Liam always tapped when he wanted things to move faster. He'd texted me an address. "You'll just sign and be done," he'd written. "No please. No explanation." "Mom," he said when he finally noticed me. "You made it. Good." "I always do," I told him. He smiled. "Quick. Managerial. This is a formality," he explained. "After this, you won't have to worry about the cabin anymore." Tessa and I toured a great community. Sunroom, yoga, the works. "It's my cabin," I said. "It's an obligation," he corrected. "Insurance, taxes, uphill driveway in winter. Dangerous, if we're honest. We can't keep doing these near-miss ladder incidents." "Once," I said. "I slipped once." He slid a page forward. "The association filed the lien because you refused repairs. The lender accelerated the note. The trustee sale is at 11. Maybe it stings, but it's efficient. We'll all sleep better after today." I looked past him to the board. Legal notices hung there. Thumbtacked sheets. My name squeezed between parcel numbers and lot sizes. I thought of the lake that morning. Glassy. Blue. Of the cedar steps that still carry the faint scuff of Charlie's boots. "You should have told me," I said. "I did," he answered. His patience sounded packaged. "Mom, please. Sign so we can control the terms before the developer does." The clock over the clerk's desk blinked 10:42. I placed my handbag on the chair. For the first time in years, I didn't reach for a pen. 2 weeks earlier, an envelope had arrived. Bank's blue watermark. The kind that makes your stomach clench before your eyes can read. Inside a notice of default. An auction date in bold like a dare. I'd signed that reverse line of credit the fall after Charlie died. Casseroles crowded my counter then. The house sounded like an empty jar. "Just in case," the loan officer had said. The words landed soft, then heavy. I hardly drew from it. I taught myself to make soup for one. I learned which bulb on the porch keeps moths away. I made peace with the voices of the lake. But last year the Homeowners Association decided to replace every dock. Mandatory assessment. Relentless notices. I asked for a payment plan. They sent threats instead. Somewhere between their letters and Liam's template emails, the bank counted the cabin as a problem. To be solved. The day the envelope came, I placed it beside Charlie's old tackle tin. I called a number I hadn't dialed in years. "Nadia?" I asked when the voice answered. "It's Grace Ellery. Used to bring you oatmeal cookies during finals." She laughed, startled into remembering. "Mrs. Ellery? From the library?" "Retired," I said. "I need help staying that way." By afternoon, I sat in Nadia's office. Sun stripes moved across a fern. She read every ugly line aloud. "They're right on deadlines," she said. "But wrong on notice. And if you were pushed or misled into this, we have leverage." "Can we stop it?" I asked. "Maybe," she said. "Or reroute it. Tell me what you can live with." "I can live with my front steps," I said. "And the creak on the third one that always warns I'm home." Now I stood in the courthouse hallway. Liam tapped his pen against his folder. The sound echoed off marble walls. Banks love certainty more than they love customers. Jorge at the branch had worn a lapel pin like a tiny shield. Called me Ms. Ellery even after I told him Grace was fine. The debt was bundled, he'd explained. Your reverse line was assigned to a trust that sells non-performing notes. Where is it now? Nadia had asked. Still in transit, he'd said. Not closed. Then sell it to us, she'd said. He'd blinked. You want to purchase the note? Yes, I'd said before he could laugh. And the association lien too, if they'll take it. I can cover a number if it buys time. This is irregular, he'd said. Being old and truthful is irregular, I'd told him. Here we are. I'd signed papers that felt like sandbags at my feet. Heavy. Necessary. Back at the cabin, I'd made tea. Called my granddaughter. Listened to her smile through the phone. Ava, I'd said, what are you doing Saturday? Working the morning shift, she'd replied. Skipping my afternoon studio. Driving to you if you need that. I might, I'd said. Bring that scruffy rescue dog that pretends not to like me. He likes you, she'd said. He just resents the hierarchy. Good, I'd said. I'm done at the bottom of lists. Now the courthouse clock showed 10:55. Liam checked his watch. Tessa waved from across the hall like we were leaving a recital. We're cutting it close, Liam said. I've never been early to a thing that wanted to erase me, I replied. I slid the folder under my arm. Inside were wire confirmations. Assignment of the note. HOA lien release pending. Nadia would meet me at the auction room. Jorge would send the final email if his higher-ups didn't flinch. I'd spent 30 years telling 16-year-olds to believe in verbs. Today mine were simple. Show up. Insist. Own. The auction room smelled like pencil shavings. Winter coats that stayed damp all day. A line formed near the bulletin board. People with clipboards. Eyes trained on bargains. The trustee in a gray suit called for attention. He did not look up from his script when he said my name. Liam hovered near the front. Posture like offense could be prevented with stance. We'll object if the developer underbids, he murmured to Tessa. We have a pre-arranged fallback. You sound like a policy manual, I said. Mom, please, he said. The word please clanged like a spoon against a sink. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Nadia's hand touched my elbow. Ready? She asked. Born, I said. The trustee announced parcel 14B. My lake. My dock. My porch swing that squeaks on humid evenings like a happy violin. He called the opening figure. A man in a fleece vest raised a paddle. Another in a windbreaker nodded. Like he'd tasted the air and found it saleable. Before you proceed, Nadia said. Clear and calm. We need the record to note that my client is the secured party. Murmurs rippled through the room. The trustee squinted. Identify yourself, he said. Assignment of note and deed, she said. Recorded this morning. She passed the stamped packet. And a payoff letter from the HOA's counsel. The trustee read once. Then again. His mouth moved silently. When he looked up, he finally saw me. Grace Ellery? He asked. Yes, I said. You purchased your own debt? I purchased time, I said. The rest is mine already. He rubbed his forehead, turned to the small crowd. Sale of parcel 14B is postponed pending reconciliation. Move to the next. Fleece vest groaned. Windbreaker whispered a profanity that sounded strangely like a compliment. Behind me, Liam's breath stopped. Long enough to make me worry he'd forgotten how. Mom, he said softly. What did you do? Read the sign, I said, nodding to the board. For once. We stepped into the hallway. It always smells faintly of lemon cleaner and ambition. Tessa lingered by a drinking fountain. Her phone reflected her face back at her. Like a woman she didn't want to negotiate with. Why didn't you tell me? Liam asked. Why did you make me look? He caught himself. Surprised? I offered. Foolish, he admitted. The honesty pressed a little door open in my chest. Because you stopped asking me what I wanted, I said. You started sending links. Somewhere between spreadsheets and concerned son voice, you replaced my name with a category. I was trying to make it safe, he said. For whom? I asked. He stared at the floor. Scuff marks scribbled a whole taxonomy of impatience there. I didn't think you'd fight, he said finally. I taught debate for 15 years, I said. You just didn't stay for lunch when I told stories. Nadia rejoined us. Efficient as rain. The trustee cancelled your sale, she said. The bank acknowledged the assignment. Jorge sent confirmation. Who is Jorge? Liam asked. Like maybe there was a man I'd let into my life without his sign-off. A clerk who remembered my birthday once, I said. I decided to return the favor. We sat on a wooden bench. Polished by 1,000 anxieties. Tessa approached cautiously. Grace, she said, we didn't want to hurt you. You wanted quiet, I said. You wanted me contained. She didn't argue. I make a mean lemon loaf, she offered instead. Confused kindness held out like a truce. Bring it when you visit, I said. As a guest. Liam's eyes lifted. He always looked younger when he lost. Like the boy who once cried over a broken kite. Declared gravity a personal enemy. Are you changing the will? He asked. Yes, I said. Because a house should go to the person who remembers the way its screen door sings. Ava, he whispered. Yes, I said again. Watched the word learn to breathe between us. I thought about the morning 3 weeks ago. Before the envelope arrived. Before the world tilted sideways. I'd been watering the geraniums on the front porch. Red ones Charlie planted our first spring here. The hose kinked near the spigot. Same spot it always did. Liam had called while I wrestled with it. Mom, he'd said, we need to talk about your situation. My situation, I'd repeated. Like I was a problem in a textbook. The cabin, he'd said. The isolation. What happens when you fall again? I haven't fallen, I'd said. The ladder incident, he'd insisted. I'd slipped. Once. Reaching for a wasp nest under the eaves. Charlie would have handled it. But Charlie was 3 years in the ground by then. Tessa's voice had floated in the background. Practical. Insistent. Tell her about the community we saw. I'd hung up. Finished watering the geraniums. Watched them drink in the afternoon light. That evening, I'd called Ava. My granddaughter's voice always sounds like coming home. Nana, she'd said, how are you holding up? Like a house that knows its own bones, I'd said. She'd laughed. That's very you. Your father thinks I'm fragile, I'd told her. Dad thinks everyone's fragile except him, she'd said. And sometimes he's not wrong. But not about you. Not about me, I'd agreed. Now, sitting on the courthouse bench, I felt those words again. Not about me. Liam was quiet. Processing. The way he did when his carefully built arguments fell apart. I don't understand, he said finally. I know, I said. That's the problem. Tessa checked her phone. We should go, she said. Traffic will be murder. You go, I said. I'm riding with Nadia. Liam stood. hesitated. Mom, he said. I'm sorry. For what? I asked. For assuming you couldn't save yourself, he said. I stood too, slower than I used to. But steady. I've been saving myself for 68 years, I said. Today I just made it official. Outside, the courthouse steps gleamed in the October sun. Nadia's car waited by the curb. Silver. Reliable. Like the woman who drove it. Ready to go home? She asked. More than ready, I said. The drive back to the lake took 40 minutes. Rolling hills. October colors bleeding across the landscape. Nadia drove carefully. No hurry now. We passed the general store where Charlie used to buy his fishing licenses. The old church with the crooked steeple. The roadside stand that sold sweet corn in summer. All of it still here. Still mine to see. Your granddaughter called while you were in there, Nadia said. Wants to know how it went. It went, I said. Tell her the cabin's staying put. And your son? He'll come around, I said. Or he won't. But he won't take my home. The lake appeared through the trees. Blue as forgiveness. The cabin sat on its rise like it had grown there. Natural as breath. I paid Nadia. Thanked her. Watched her drive away. Then I climbed my front steps. All 3 of them. The third one creaked its warning. I'm home, it said. Yes, I answered. Yes, I am. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. The cabin waited for me. Same as always. But everything felt different now. The light had shifted while I was gone. Softer. Like the day forgave itself for being a blade. I set my purse on the kitchen counter. Next to Charlie's old tackle tin. The one where I'd placed that first threatening letter. The silence wrapped around me. Not empty. Full. I made tea. Earl Grey. The way Charlie liked it. Strong enough to wake the dead, he used to say. The steam rose from my cup. Curled toward the window where afternoon sun slanted through. I called Jorge first. To thank him. Mrs. Ellery, he said when he answered. I heard it went well. It went, I said. Thank you for remembering my birthday. He laughed. Surprised. You're welcome. Next, I called the HOA office. Left a message on their machine. You'll get a check in 2 days, I said. And a letter from my lawyer explaining why kindness costs less than certified mail. Then Nadia's office. I left gratitude on her voicemail too. It sounded strange. Saying thank you for helping me keep what was already mine. But that's how the world works now. You have to fight to hold onto what you built. I opened Charlie's old desk drawer. Found the blue notebook he gave me on my 60th. Write it down, embossed in gold. The gold had flaked like snow over the years. I turned to a fresh page. Wrote today I chose verbs again. Bought. Kept. Refused. Invited. The words looked solid on paper. Real. A car pulled into my drive around 4. Familiar engine sound. Ava's old Honda. The one that burns oil and plays music too loud. She knocked once. Then let herself in. Like family should. Nana? She called. Kitchen, I called back. She appeared in the doorway. Cheeks pink from the October air. That scruffy rescue dog trailing behind her. Pickle. Crooked ears and suspicious eyes. He likes you, she'd always said. He just resents the hierarchy. Today he walked right to me. Sat by my chair. Put his chin on my knee. Smart dog, I said. Scratching behind his ears. Mom texted, Ava said. She wants to know if you'll take visitors next weekend. She says she'll bring seltzer and not comment on your curtains. She may come if she leaves her clipboard at home, I said. Ava grinned. She has 3. I'll hide them in the trunk. She moved around my kitchen like she belonged there. Which she did. Opening cabinets. Finding what she needed. I'm making soup, she announced. Tomato. From the can you pretend is homemade. I don't pretend, I said. I just don't correct people's assumptions. She lit the stove, hummed while she worked. Some song I didn't recognize. But the melody was warm. We ate on the porch steps. Bowls balanced on our knees. The lake went silver at the middle. A heron stood like a thought on the far rock. Pickle negotiated successfully for the heel of bread. Are you scared? Ava asked. Yes, I said, and not enough to stop. You're a legend, she whispered. I'm a woman with a bench that still rocks when no one sits in it, I said. Legends are just people who outlast the rumor that they can't. The sun dropped toward the tree line. Shadows stretched across the water. Everything golden. Everything peaceful. Ava stayed until full dark. Until the first stars showed themselves. Drive safe, I told her at the door. Always do, she said. Kissed my cheek. Left the scent of her shampoo behind. I watched her taillights disappear down the drive. Then I stood on my porch. Listening. The lake lapped against the shore. Patient. Eternal. A loon called from somewhere across the water. Another answered. I thought about Liam. About the surprise in his eyes when the auction stopped. About the way he'd said my name like he was seeing me for the first time. Maybe he was. I thought about Tessa. About her offer to bring lemon loaf. Kindness held out like a truce. Maybe she meant it. Maybe not. Time would tell. I thought about the envelope that started all this. Blue watermark. Bold letters. The way it had made my stomach clench. Now it was just paper. Meaningless. Filed away somewhere in Nadia's office. I went inside. Locked the door. Turned on the lamp by Charlie's chair. The house settled around me. Familiar creaks. Familiar sighs. The way old houses breathe when the day ends. I opened the blue notebook again. Added a line tonight. The cabin and I are both exactly where we belong. I made myself a sandwich. Turkey and Swiss on bread I'd baked yesterday. Sat at the kitchen table where Charlie and I used to plan our days. The phone rang. I let it ring. Whoever needed me could wait until morning. At 10 o'clock, I turned off the lights. Checked the locks. Climbed the stairs to my bedroom. The lake was dark now. Just stars reflecting on the surface. Like scattered coins. I brushed my teeth. Put on the nightgown Ava gave me last Christmas. Soft flannel with tiny roses. Then I sat on the edge of my bed. In the room where Charlie and I had dreamed together. Where we'd planned this cabin. This life. Where I'd grieved him. Where I'd learned to be alone without being lonely. Today I'd saved our home. Our history. Our choice to build something beautiful by the water. Tomorrow there would be other challenges. Other fights. Other people who thought they knew better than I did about my own life. But tonight, I was exactly where I belonged. In the house that knew my footsteps. On the land that remembered my voice. I pulled back the quilt. The one my mother made before she died. Squares of fabric from dresses I'd worn as a girl. Each square held a memory. A birthday. A Sunday service. A first day of school. Like the cabin. Every board held a story. Every room held love. I turned off the bedside lamp. Settled into the darkness. Listened to the lake whisper against the shore. This is home, it said. This is yours. This is safe. Yes, I whispered back. Yes, it is. Outside, the loons called to each other. Ancient voices. Older than worry. Older than fear. I closed my eyes. For the first time in weeks, I slept without dreams. Just deep, dark rest. In the bed where I belonged. In the house I'd fought to keep. In the place where love lived on. Even after death. Even after betrayal. Even after doubt. The cabin held me close. Like it always had. Like it always would. Home. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Liam took 3 days to call. Long enough to worry. Short enough to hope. I was watering the geraniums when the phone rang. Red blooms heavy with October rain. The same flowers Charlie planted our first spring. "Mom," Liam said when I answered. "Can I come over?" "Of course," I said. "Alone," he added. "If that's okay." "That's okay," I said. He asked if he could bring coffee. Nothing else. Good sign, I thought. No briefcases. No folders full of solutions. I stood on the porch watching for his car. Watching the lake change colors with the shifting clouds. Gray to silver. Silver to blue. His car made the slow left past the mailbox. The one Charlie painted white, the year the squirrels decided they were decorators. Liam parked where he always did. Under the old maple. The one that drops leaves like confetti every fall. He got out slowly. Stood by his car for a moment. Looking at the cabin like he'd never seen it before. Or like he was seeing it for the first time. He carried a small paper bag. 2 cups balanced on top. Steam rising through the plastic lids. "Mom," he said when he reached the porch. "Son," I said back. We looked at each other. 40 years of history between us. Most of it good. Some of it not. "It smells like you," he said finally. "Pine oil and old books?" I asked. "And ginger," he said. "You're baking." "Trying," I said. Handed him the tin I'd prepared. "Saved you 3. Ava said you'd eat 6 if I let you." He smiled. "Real this time. Not managerial." "Ginger snaps," he said. "Like when I was little." "Like when you were little," I agreed. We sat at the small kitchen table. The one where homework happened. Where report cards got signed. Where college applications spread like important maps. He handed me a coffee. Black. The way I like it. He remembered. "I found the emails," he said. "From the HOA. I saw how they cornered you. How they threatened." I waited. Let him find his words. "I should have intervened there," he said. "Not here. You tried to put out a kitchen fire by selling the stove," I said. He winced. Nodded. "I thought I was protecting you from decline," he said softly. "Turns out I was protecting myself from watching it." "We all do that," I said. "I forgot you built this place with Dad," he continued. "I forgot you know every nail personally. I forgot you get scared," I said. The honesty hung between us. Fragile as spun glass. He opened the tin. Took out a ginger snap. Bit into it carefully. The way he did as a boy. Making it last. "These taste like home," he said. "They are home," I said. Outside, a blue jay scolded something in the pine tree. Probably the cat from down the road. The one that thinks my bird feeder is his personal buffet. "Mom," Liam said, "I need to ask you something." I waited. "Are you really changing the will?" he asked. Not unkindly. Just needing to know. "Yes," I said. "To Ava?" "To Ava," I confirmed. He nodded slowly. Chewed another bite. Swallowed. "She should have it," he said finally. "Why?" I asked. Curious what he'd say. "Because she sees it," he said. "Because she sees you." The words settled between us like birds landing on still water. "Because when she visits," he continued, "she sits on the porch swing. She doesn't measure how much it's worth. She listens to it squeak, I said. She listens to it squeak, he agreed. We finished our coffee in comfortable quiet. The kind that comes after hard truths get spoken. Will you teach her about the dock boards? I asked. When she inherits your worry. He laughed. Surprised. Yes, he said. And maybe I'll learn to sit on the swing without fixing it. That would be good, I said. He stayed another hour. We didn't talk much. Didn't need to. He looked through Charlie's old photo albums. Remembered fishing trips. Summer storms. The year we painted every room a different color because we couldn't decide. He helped me move the heavy planter from the back porch. The one I'd been avoiding since my ladder slip. When he left, he hugged me. Real hug. Not the careful kind you give fragile things. I'll come for dinner Sunday, he said. If you'll have me. Bring Tessa, I said. Tell her to bring that lemon loaf she mentioned. He smiled. She'll like that. I watched him drive away. Watched his taillights disappear around the bend. Then I went back inside. Back to my ginger snaps. Back to my quiet house. I opened the blue notebook. Added a line. Today my son remembered who I am. The afternoon stretched long and golden. I worked in my garden. Pulled the last weeds before winter. Covered the roses with burlap. Preparing for the cold months ahead. The way you do when you plan to stay. A loon called from across the lake. Another answered. Their voices echoed off the water. Off the hills. Off the years. I thought about forgiveness. How it's not a moment but a practice. Not a feeling but a choice. How it tastes like ginger snaps shared at a kitchen table. The sun dropped toward the tree line. Painted everything amber. Everything soft. I made myself dinner. Soup from the can Ava had opened. Bread I'd baked yesterday. Ate it on the porch steps. Watching the light fade from the sky. Pickle wandered up from wherever dogs go when they're thinking. Sat beside me like an old friend. You're back, I said. He leaned against my leg. Warm. Solid. Present. We're all back, I realized. All of us finding our way home. The stars came out one by one. Patient. Persistent. The way hope works. I stayed outside until the night air turned cool. Until the loons went quiet. Until the lake settled into its evening dreams. Then I went inside, locked the door, turned on the lamp by Charlie's chair. The house breathed around me. Familiar. Peaceful. Mine. Tomorrow Ava would visit again. This weekend Liam and Tessa would come for dinner. Next week there would be other small repairs. Other small joys. But tonight was enough. Tonight was perfect. I sat in Charlie's chair. Opened a book I'd been meaning to read. Let the words carry me somewhere else for a while. The cabin held me close. The way it always had. The way it always would. Outside, the lake whispered its ancient songs. Inside, the fire crackled in the hearth. Everything as it should be. Everything as it would remain. Home. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Sunday came bright and cold. October showing its teeth. I woke early. Before the sun touched the lake. Before the birds started their morning arguments. The house felt expectant. Like it knew company was coming. I made coffee. Started the pot roast. The one Charlie always said could convert vegetarians. 3 pounds of beef. Carrots from my garden. Potatoes that still held summer in their skin. By noon, the cabin smelled like Sunday should. Like family. Like forgiveness simmering low. Ava arrived first. Always early. Always eager. She brought pickle and a bottle of wine. Something expensive. Something celebratory. What are we celebrating? I asked. You, she said. Your victory. Your courage. My stubbornness, I said. Your stubbornness, she agreed. Grinning, she set the table while I stirred gravy. Used the good china, the set that came from Charlie's mother. White plates with tiny roses. Gold rim worn thin from decades of use. Each plate held stories. Christmas mornings. Birthday dinners. The last meal I cooked for Charlie before he got too sick to eat. Happy stories. Sad stories. All of them mine now. Liam's car pulled in at 2. Right on time. Like his father taught him. Tessa got out first. Smoothing her skirt. Checking her reflection in the car window. She carried a covered dish. Square ceramic. Blue and white checked cloth. Liam walked beside her. Slower than usual. Like he was learning how to visit instead of inspect. The lemon loaf smells incredible, I said when they reached the porch. Tessa's face brightened. My grandmother's recipe, she said. 7 generations of German stubbornness. The best kind, I said. We sat in the living room first. Awkward as teenagers at a dance. Tessa admired my quilts. Asked about the patterns. The stories behind each square. This one's from my wedding dress, I said. Pointing to cream silk. And this from Liam's baby blanket. Liam looked surprised. You kept it? I keep everything that matters, I said. The pot roast was perfect. Tender as a mother's forgiveness. The gravy rich and brown. We ate like people who'd forgotten they were family. Then remembered. Tessa told stories about her work. Something with computers. Something that helped people. Liam talked about his latest project. Building houses for young families. Starter homes, he called them. Like this was, I said. Looking around my cabin. Like this was, he agreed. Ava dominated dessert conversation. School stories. Art projects. The novel she was reading. Life pouring out of her like water from a spring. Endless. Joyful. This is why you're leaving her the cabin, isn't it? Tessa asked quietly. Because she fills it with life, I said. Because she sees it as home, not investment, Liam added. Because she knows how to listen to old houses, I said. After dinner, we walked to the lake. All of us bundled in sweaters. The water was dark glass. Reflecting bare branches. Reflecting sky. A loon surfaced near the dock. Watched us with ancient eyes. Dove again. Dad used to say loons were older than worry, Liam said. Older than worry, I repeated. He was right about most things. The sun dropped low. Painted everything gold. Everything precious. We went back inside. Built a fire in the hearth. Sat around it like people did before television. Talking. Listening. Being together without agenda. Tessa asked if she could see Charlie's workshop. The shed behind the cabin where he'd built birdhouses and fixed broken things. It's dusty, I warned. I don't mind dust, she said. We walked out together. Opened the double doors that hadn't moved in months. Sunlight slanted through the windows. Caught the dust motes dancing. Tools hung on pegboard. Each in its place. Each waiting for hands that wouldn't return. He was meticulous, Tessa said. About everything, I said. Except putting his coffee cup in the sink. She smiled. Picked up a half-finished birdhouse. Sanded smooth but not yet assembled. Would you mind if I finished this? She asked. You know how? I asked. My father was a carpenter, she said. Before computers. Before everything got complicated. He'd like that, I said. Charlie would like that. We stayed until the light began to fade. Until the evening air turned sharp. Liam built up the fire when we got back inside. Ava made tea. We sat in Charlie's living room. In chairs he'd chosen. Under lamps he'd wired. His presence everywhere. Not haunting. Blessing. You know what I realized today? Liam said. What? I asked. I've been trying to solve you, he said. Instead of just enjoying you. The words sat between us. True as morning light. I do that too sometimes, Tessa said. With everything. Everyone. It's easier to fix than to feel, I said. But not better, Ava said. Definitely not better. They stayed until almost dark. Until the fire burned low. Until we'd talked ourselves into understanding. Liam hugged me goodbye. Real hug. Like he meant it. Thank you, he said. For not giving up on us. Thank you for remembering who I am, I said. Tessa hugged me too, surprising both of us. I'll finish Charlie's birdhouse, she promised. Bring it back next week. He'd like that, I said again. Ava lingered, like she always did, like leaving was painful. You did good today, Nana, she said. We all did good, I said. After they left, I sat by the dying fire, listening to the house settle. The cabin felt different now. Lived in again, loved in again, not just by me, by all of us. I opened the blue notebook. Wrote today the cabin remembered it was built for family. Today family remembered they were built for each other. The fire crackled. Pickle snored in Charlie's chair. The lake whispered against the shore. Everything as it should be. Everything as it would remain. Outside, the stars came out. Patient, persistent, eternal. Inside, the house held us all. Even the ones who'd gone home. Love doesn't leave when people do. It stays. It grows. It makes more room for everyone who needs shelter. I banked the fire. Turned off the lights. Climbed the stairs to bed. In the room where Charlie and I had dreamed together. Where we'd planned this life. Where I'd learned that home isn't just a place. It's a practice. A choice you make every day. To stay. To fight. To love. To keep the door open for the ones who might find their way back. The loons called across the dark water. Ancient voices. Older than worry. Older than fear. I closed my eyes. Listened to their song. Felt the cabin breathe around me. Tomorrow there would be other days. Other meals. Other chances to choose love over fear. But tonight was enough. Tonight was perfect. Home. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Tessa came back on Thursday. Alone. I saw her car pull into the drive. Slow and careful, like she was still learning the way. She carried a paper bag. Something wrapped inside. Something finished. I opened the door before she knocked. The way you do for family. Grace, she said, I brought something. Come in, I said. Coffee's fresh. We sat at the kitchen table. The same one where Liam and I had shared ginger snaps. She unwrapped the paper bag carefully. Like it held something precious. Inside was Charlie's birdhouse. Completed. Sanded smooth. Painted soft green. The color of spring leaves. The color of hope. It's beautiful, I said. I hope I did it right, she said. I found the plans in his workshop. His measurements. His notes. You did it right, I said. The birdhouse sat between us on the table. Small but perfect. Ready for its first tenants. He wrote notes to himself, she said. In the margins. Reminders about joint angles. Wood grain direction. He always did that, I said. Talked to himself while he worked. My father did too, she said. Said it kept him honest. Good men think out loud, I said. We drank our coffee in comfortable quiet. Both of us looking at the birdhouse. It needs a home, she said finally. I know just the place, I said. We walked outside together, to the maple tree by the drive. The one that drops confetti every fall. Charlie always said this tree needed a resident, I said. What kind of bird? She asked. Wrens, probably. Maybe chickadees. Whoever needs shelter most. I held the birdhouse while she found a sturdy branch. Eye level, facing east to catch morning sun. Perfect, I said. We stepped back, admired our work. Two women finishing what a good man started. Tessa brushed sawdust from her hands. I should go, she said. Stay for lunch, I said. Please. She looked surprised, then grateful. I'd like that, she said. I made sandwiches, turkey and Swiss on bread I'd baked yesterday. Cut them diagonally, the way Charlie preferred. We ate on the porch, watching the lake change colors with the shifting wind. Can I ask you something? Tessa said. Of course, I said. Why did you forgive us so easily? She asked. After what we tried to do. I thought about that, chewed my sandwich, watched a loon surface near the dock. Because holding grudges is heavy work, I said finally. And I'm too old for heavy lifting. She smiled. But it wasn't that simple, was it? No, I said. It wasn't. I told her about the nights I couldn't sleep. The days I felt betrayed. The hours I spent angry. How I'd written letters I never sent. Made phone calls I never finished. How I'd sat in Charlie's chair and asked his ghost what I should do. What did he tell you? She asked. He reminded me that love isn't a prize you win, I said. It's a choice you make. Every day. Over and over. Even when it's hard? She asked. Especially when it's hard, I said. A blue jay landed on the new birdhouse. Looked inside. Decided it wasn't quite right for his family. Too small, I said. He's got expensive taste. Like his landlord, Tessa said. I laughed. Surprised by her humor. By her ease. You know what I realized last Sunday? She said. What? I asked. I've been afraid of you, she said. Afraid of me? I asked. Afraid I could never measure up, she said. To your first daughter-in-law. To your history with Liam. There's no measuring, I said. There's just room. Room for what? She asked. Room for everyone who loves him, I said. Room for everyone who stays. She nodded, wiped her eyes with her napkin. I want to stay, she said. Good, I said. The cabin likes company. After lunch, we walked around the property. I showed her Charlie's garden. His tool shed. The dock he built with his own hands. The places where our life together had taken root. Grown strong. Lasted. She asked good questions. Listened to long answers. Remembered details that mattered. Where the septic tank was buried. Which circuit breaker controlled the well pump. How to winterize the pipes. Practical things. Necessary things. The knowledge that keeps homes running. You're planning to help Ava when she inherits, aren't you? I asked. If she'll let me, she said. If you want me to. I want you to, I said. Before she left, we sat on the porch swing. The one that squeaks like a happy violin. It needs oil, she said. It needs character, I corrected. The squeak is part of its song. She smiled, pushed with her feet, made it squeak on purpose. I like its song, she said. Charlie built it to last, I said. Built it for generations of songs. The sun was dropping toward the tree line. Golden light slanted across the water. This is magic hour, I said. When the lake shows its true colors. What colors do you see? She asked. Gold. Silver. Deep green where the water's cold. Blue where it's warm. I see peace, she said. I see home. That's what Charlie saw too, I said. The day we decided to build here. We sat in comfortable silence, rocking gently, listening to the lake whisper. A wren landed on the new birdhouse. Looked inside, chirped approval. First visitor, Tessa said. Charlie would be pleased, I said. When she left, she hugged me goodbye. Real hug, like she meant it. Thank you, she said. For the second chance. Thank you for finishing what he started, I said. I watched her drive away. Watched her taillights disappear around the bend. Then I sat back on the swing. Alone but not lonely. The wren was still investigating the birdhouse. Hopping in and out. Testing the dimensions. Making itself at home. Like Tessa was learning to do. Like all of us were learning to do. I opened the blue notebook when I got inside. Wrote today Charlie's last project found its purpose. Today our family found another member. The cabin settled around me. Familiar creaks. Familiar sighs. But something had shifted. Expanded. Made room. For Tessa's laughter. For her careful questions. For her willingness to finish what others started. For the possibility that family isn't just blood. It's choice. It's commitment. It's showing up. It's building birdhouses for creatures you'll never meet. Trusting they'll find shelter. It's making room at tables. Room in hearts. Room in homes. The lake reflected the first stars. Patient. Eternal. Generous with its beauty. Like love should be. Like family could be. Like home always was. I turned off the lights. Locked the doors. Climbed the stairs to bed. Tomorrow there would be other visitors. Other chances to choose love over fear. Other birdhouses to build. Other songs to sing. But tonight was enough. Tonight was perfect. The wren had made its decision. I could hear it settling in. Making itself at home in the shelter Charlie built. The shelter Tessa finished. The shelter love provides when we're brave enough to let it. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. 2 weeks later, I called Nadia. Time to make it official. The leaves had turned fully now. Red and gold covering the ground like scattered coins. Charlie always said autumn was the earth's way of showing off before sleep. I can come to your office, I told Nadia. Or you can come here. I'll come to you, she said. This should be done at home. She arrived on a Tuesday morning. Crisp and bright. The kind of day that makes you grateful for eyes to see it. She carried a leather briefcase. Professional. Serious. But her smile was warm. Coffee? I asked. Please, she said. We sat at the kitchen table. Papers spread between us like a map of the future. Standard will, she said. Nothing complicated. Clean transfer to Ava upon your death. Clean transfer, I repeated. Like the cabin was a business deal. But it wasn't. It was 60 years of choosing each other. Charlie and me. Me and this place. What about Liam? She asked. He gets Charlie's tools, I said. His books. The fishing gear he never used. And? She asked. And my blessing, I said. Which is worth more than timber and nails. She nodded. Made notes in her careful handwriting. Dotted every I. Crossed every T. You're sure about this? She asked. I've never been surer of anything, I said. Even marrying Charlie? She asked. Teasing. That was different, I said. That was faith. This is knowledge. We went through the details. Property boundaries. Tax implications. Transfer procedures. All the ways the law tries to contain what love built. When we finished, she packed her papers. Promised to have everything ready by Friday. One more signature, she said. Then it's done. One more signature, I agreed. After she left, I walked through the cabin. Room by room, memory by memory. The kitchen where Charlie burned pancakes every Sunday morning. Where I taught him to make pie crust that didn't fight back. The living room where we'd argued about paint colors. Where we'd made up afterward. Where we'd grown old together. The bedroom where we'd whispered secrets. Shared dreams. Said goodbye. Every room held stories. Every story held love. Now it would hold Ava's stories. Her dreams. Her life. The phone rang around noon. Ava's voice bright as morning. "Nana," she said, "I'm coming up this weekend." "Bringing Mom. Both of you?" I asked. "She wants to see you," Ava said. "Really see you, not just check on you." "There's a difference," I said. "She's learning the difference," Ava said. "Good," I said. "Bring sleeping bags. We'll have a sleepover." She laughed. Like she was 10 again. Like time was a circle. Friday came gray and drizzling. November showing its true face. Nadia returned with the finished will. Legal language wrapped around simple truth. I signed my name where she pointed. Careful letters. Deliberate strokes. Grace Ellery. The name Charlie had chosen to spend his life beside. "It's done," Nadia said. "Witnessed. Notarized. Filed." "It's done," I repeated. But it didn't feel finished. It felt like a beginning. That evening, I called Liam. Asked if he could come by Saturday morning. "Of course," he said. "Everything okay?" "Everything's exactly as it should be," I said. Saturday morning came soft and golden. Indian summer making one last stand. Liam arrived with coffee and pastries. Tessa beside him. Both of them relaxed. Like they'd stopped bracing for bad news. We sat on the porch. Watching the lake mirror the sky. Perfect stillness. Perfect peace. "I have something to tell you both," I said. They waited. Patient. Present. "I finished the will this week," I said. Liam nodded. "We know," he said. "Ava gets the cabin. And you're okay with that?" I asked. "More than okay," he said. "It's right." Tessa reached over. Squeezed my hand. "She'll take good care of it," she said. "With your help," I said. "Both of you. Always," Tessa said. I thought about the woman who'd stood in this same spot 6 weeks ago. Frightened. Cornered. Fighting alone. That woman couldn't have imagined this moment. This peace. This family. Couldn't have imagined choosing trust over fear. Love over control. Ava and her mother arrived at noon. Car packed with supplies. Hearts packed with hope. Sarah looked nervous. Like she was meeting me for the first time. Maybe she was. "Hello, Grace," she said. "Thank you for having us." "Thank you for coming," I said. We spent the afternoon cooking together. 4 generations of women. 4 different ways of loving. Sarah told stories about Ava as a baby. Her first steps. First words. First heartbreak. Stories I'd never heard. Stories that filled empty spaces in my knowledge. Stories that made us family instead of strangers. We ate dinner by candlelight. Talked until the fire burned low. Laughed until our sides hurt. Like families do when they stop trying so hard. That night, we spread sleeping bags in the living room. Like camping indoors. Ava and Sarah on the floor. Me in Charlie's chair. Old bones, I explained. We told ghost stories. Shared secrets. Planned tomorrow's breakfast. Like sleepovers should be. Like family should be. I listened to their breathing settle into sleep. 3 generations under one roof. Under the roof Charlie and I had built. The roof that would shelter Ava's children someday. The roof that connected past to future. Memory to hope. Sunday morning, they made pancakes. Burned them slightly, just like Charlie used to do. Perfect, I said. Absolutely perfect. When they left, Sarah hugged me last. Held on longer than necessary. Thank you, she said. For not giving up on us. Thank you for coming back, I said. I watched their car disappear. Watched the dust settle on the empty road. Then I went inside, sat in Charlie's chair, opened the blue notebook, wrote this weekend the cabin held 4 generations of love. This weekend I remembered what home is for. The afternoon stretched long and peaceful. I worked in my garden. Planted bulbs for spring, daffodils, tulips, crocuses that would push through snow when winter ended. Faith made visible, hope planted deep. The lake reflected the setting sun. Gold and rose and deep purple. Colors that had no names. Colors that reminded me why Charlie chose this place. Why I'd fought to keep it. Why I'd chosen family over fear. Love over loneliness. Hope over hurt. The wrens were settling into their new home. Voices bright with contentment. Like all of us were learning to do. Like all of us had chosen to do. I sat on the porch swing as darkness fell. Listened to it squeak its familiar song. Tomorrow would bring other challenges. Other choices. Other chances to choose love. But tonight was enough. Tonight was perfect. The cabin breathed around me. Solid. Steady. Home. The lake whispered its ancient promises. The stars offered their patient light. And I sat in the peace I'd fought to keep. In the family I'd chosen to trust. In the home that would outlast me. In the love that would never end. Perfect. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. The first snow came in December. Soft and silent. The way all good endings should be. I woke to a world made clean. White covering everything. Erasing the sharp edges of autumn. The lake lay still under its blanket. Peaceful as prayer. I made coffee. Stood at the kitchen window. Watched the flakes still falling. Charlie always said snow was God's way of giving the earth fresh paper. Time to write a new story. Today felt like a new story. A better story. The phone rang while I buttered my toast. Ava's voice bright with excitement. Nana, she said, look outside. It's beautiful. I'm looking, I said. Where are you looking from? My apartment window, she said. But I'm packing. I want to see it from your porch. Come then, I said. The coffee's hot. The fire's warm. On my way, she said. I dressed slowly. Warm sweater. Thick socks. The boots Charlie bought me our last Christmas together. Still good. Still keeping my feet dry. Still carrying me forward. By the time Ava arrived, I'd built up the fire. Set out mugs. Made cinnamon toast. The kind of breakfast that tastes like love. Like mornings when nothing hurts. She burst through the door with snow in her hair. Joy in her eyes. Pickle at her heels. Even he looked happy. Tail wagging. Tongue hanging out like a grin. It's perfect, she said. Absolutely perfect. First snow always is, I said. We sat by the fire. Drank our coffee. Watched the lake disappear into white. Like the world was starting over. Like we all were. Nana, she said, I want to ask you something. Ask, I said. When I inherit the cabin, she said. Will you teach me everything? Everything? I asked. How to winterize the pipes. How to stack wood. How to read the lake's moods. How to make it home, I said. How to make it home, she agreed. We spent the morning making lists. Practical things. Necessary things. Which circuit breaker controlled what? Where the water shut off was hidden. How to bank a fire for the night. The knowledge that keeps homes running. The wisdom that keeps families safe. But other things too. Harder things. More important things. How to sit with loneliness without drowning in it. How to find joy in ordinary moments. How to choose hope when everything argues for despair. How to be old without being bitter. How to be alone without being lonely. How to keep loving when love breaks your heart. We worked on Charlie's old crossword puzzle book. The one he never finished. Made progress he'd be proud of. 7 across. 9 letters. Endures through time. Continues, Ava said. Perfect, I said. Write it in. Lunch was soup and sandwiches. Simple food for a simple day. The kind of meal that satisfies more than just hunger. After lunch, we walked to the mailbox. Slowly, carefully. Snow still falling. The world muffled and soft. Our footsteps the only sound. Bills and catalogs. Christmas cards from people I'd taught decades ago. Still remembering. Still grateful. One envelope different from the rest. Hand addressed. Familiar writing. From Liam. His careful script spelling out my name. I opened it on the walk back. Ava reading over my shoulder. Inside, a photo. The whole family at Thanksgiving. Taken at his house 2 weeks ago. All of us around his table. Smiling. Real smiles. Not camera smiles. On the back, he'd written, "Thank you for teaching us that family is a verb, not a noun. Love, your son." I'd forgotten that dinner. The warmth of it. The easy laughter. The way we'd all belonged together. How Tessa had worried about the turkey being too dry. How it was perfect anyway. How perfect didn't matter as much as presents. How Sarah had told stories about her childhood. How we'd found common ground in old songs. Old jokes. Old hopes. How Pickle had charmed everyone into sharing their dinner. How even he had seemed part of the family. He's right, Ava said. About family being a verb. Your father's learning wisdom in his middle age, I said. Better late than never, she said. Better late than never, I agreed. That evening, we cooked together. Pasta with the sauce I'd canned last summer. Bread I'd frozen in October. The kitchen warm with steam and conversation. With the sound of women working together. 4 generations of knowledge in our hands. 4 generations of love in our hearts. My mother's way with herbs. My grandmother's patience with dough. My own hard-won understanding of what matters. All of it flowing through us. Into the food. Into the future. We ate by candlelight. Talked about her plans after graduation. Her dreams of teaching. Her hope of making a difference. Like I'd tried to make a difference. Like all teachers try to make a difference. One student at a time. One lesson at a time. One day at a time. After dinner, we sat on the porch swing. Bundled in blankets. Watching the snow fall. The lake invisible now. The world reduced to what we could see. What we could touch. What we could trust. It's going to be a good winter, she said. Why do you think so? I asked. Because we're prepared, she said. Because we're together. Because we chose love over fear. Because we chose love over fear, I repeated. Yes. The snow fell harder. Covering the deck. Covering the steps. Covering the path to the road. Soon we'd be snowed in. Cut off from the outside world. Dependent on each other. Like families used to be. Like families should be. I thought about the woman I'd been 6 months ago. Frightened. Cornered. Fighting alone. She couldn't have imagined this evening. This peace. This family. Couldn't have imagined choosing trust over suspicion. Hope over despair. Love over everything else. That night, I sat in Charlie's chair. Opened the blue notebook one last time. Wrote today the first snow covered everything ugly. Today our family became complete. The fire crackled. Ava slept on the couch. Pickle curled at her feet. The cabin breathed around us. Solid, safe, home. Tomorrow the snow would stop. The roads would be cleared. The world would intrude again. But tonight we were sufficient. Tonight we were whole. Tonight we were exactly where we belonged. I closed the notebook, banked the fire, turned off the lights, climbed the stairs to the room where Charlie and I had loved each other. Where I'd learned to love myself. Where I'd discovered that home isn't just a place. It's a choice, a practice, a faith, a belief that some things are worth fighting for, worth holding onto, worth passing down. Outside, the snow continued falling. Patient, persistent, beautiful, covering everything with possibility, with hope, with the promise of clean beginnings. Inside, 3 generations slept safe under one roof. Connected by blood, by choice, by love, by the understanding that family is indeed a verb. Active, ongoing, present tense. The cabin held us all. The way it always had. The way it always would.